Right. Hi, everybody. Mario Cavallo here. I'm going to title the show the same title as the article which I wrote in the beginning of February, which kind of changed everything. Something's not right here, folks. I got to tell you two things. I got a list here of the things that we're going to talk about, and every damn one of them is really, really important. And I want to set the tone for this particular live stream. I'm so happy to see everybody going to be coming on here. I'm going to roll up my sleeves. And I hope that gives you an indication of the kind of things that are on my mind. Because what is everybody looking for out there in this crazy world of social media, real media, major media that's gone out of their frickin' minds in the way they report news? What's happening in America, what's happening in China, what's happening with the virus. I mean, everything is important. And people have repeatedly said to me, Mario, thank you for being a voice of reason and common sense. You're just digging for the truth to be sensible. And that's exactly right. That's what we need to do. Okay. I'm saying it to you very, very clearly. I'm not anti-China, pro-China. I'm not anti-American, pro-American. I'm anti-bad things. And I'm pro-good things. And if you think about it for a second, and I was discussing this with my brother the other day, and he reminded me, and many of my friends remind me, you see all this crazy stuff happening in America. I want you to remember something. Everything you see on the news, everything you see that's happening is only the bad stuff, and it's not the silent majority. People like my brother, my daughter, my best friends, and my mother, and all of her friends back in America, guess what? They're all just normal people that want to have just normal, happy, good lives, don't want to make trouble. Okay? You see what I mean? It's the silent majority of just normal, regular folks who just want to be that way. All right? So remember that. So when you think you know all this crazy stuff that's happening, and I'm trying to make myself feel better because I feel like I see the world falling apart. And I'm upset about it, legitimately so. Okay, and there are some legitimate things that are happening that are insanely bad and have been for 20 years. But the thing is, no matter how much freedom of speech huffing and puffing and protesting you do, none of them have changed. So they create for you the illusion of that freedom of speech that you think you have there, that you think we don't have here in China, but you think it's worth something, but in fact it isn't worth anything. Okay, that's the manipulation and the illusion of, hi folks, thanks for joining. That's the manipulation and the illusion of what they want you to think. Now, I want to start on a couple of things. Number one, let me tell you let me tell you all the subjects we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the differences between social freedom, economic freedom, legal freedom, and political freedom, because there's all different kinds of freedoms. We're going to talk about what it means to say when China Premier Li Keqiang said that 600 million Chinese people, and this is proof that they're all in miserable poverty, only earn $140 a month. That's all the rural and farmer people. And well, that's proof that, China's society is a mess. I mean, it's disgusting. And of course, evil regime doesn't take care of those 600 million people. Of course, what it doesn't tell you is that, and let me be very clear about this, that $140 in China a month is equal to $1,400 a month in the United States, where you live. Got it? Okay, we're going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about, I already started talking to you about oppression and thought control. Let me be very clear to you about this, okay? The oppression and thought control, everything that you're being told is happening in China is actually happening in America, and worse than it's happening in China, and it isn't happening in China. Am I clear about what I just said? I hope so. Ask me questions about it if you don't believe me. But the point is, later, we're going to dig more deeply on that topic. Next topic, as an example, I'm coming out with a report, which I think I'm going to make it available for $1. I do. I think I'm going to make, I need support of the channel, the YouTube channel, this channel. I'm thinking of joining Patreon. I'm putting up just now putting up a new UPay platform. I'll type up some information about all this coming up. I think I'm going to start, I need the the donations. I want the support. I appreciate it. It's a lot of time and energy and effort to be an author and to be a commentator. So I think I'm going to offer you a report for $1. What will you get for $1? This is what we're going to talk about in a few minutes. Okay? I wrote up a teaser post in LinkedIn. I says, China's internet is blocked. Right? Well, right. What's Mario saying here? China's internet is blocked. Yeah. We know that. I mean, we've been told that for 20 years. China's internet is blocked. And they censor China's internet. It's blocked. I mean, it's blocked from the Western world, and Chinese people can't get to it. This is known, obvious, and true, except it's completely freaking false. I got a report for you of over 50 of the world's major, not minor, major, CNN being one of them, CNN.com. Type it in your browser. It's not blocked in China. Who the hell told you it's blocked? You say, oh, that's one of the major websites that's blocked in China. No, you never bothered to type it in, did you? You don't live here. You don't know. I live here. I'll type it in again right now. What? That's like what? Oh, you don't believe Mario's lying? Mario's lying because he's a propagandist. He's a panda hugging, bootling CCP lover. He's lying. CNN.com. Oh, it came up. Shock of shocks. There are over 50 of the world's major news and life websites, each of which is loaded with endless pages that you could never actually read in a day to learn anything and everything you want to know about the world, correct? There's over 50 of those sites. Go to my LinkedIn. Go to I did a post listing just the first 10. We'll talk about this a little bit later on. Okay. We're going to talk about National Security Director asshole Robert O'Brien. He said about China, you're going to love this. This is just so incredible. See, this is the thing. American society is deteriorating. Chinese society has never gotten better and better and better like it ever has before in the entire freaking world. And it's just the truth, and I'm sorry. America's become an oligarchy where only the rich are benefiting, but everybody else is struggling like crazy, and more and more and more. I'm just saying what's true. I'm not even saying anything unique, actually, in this, right? But National Security Council Robert O'Brien, he wants to. This is what he wants you to think about China. The Chinese Communist Party seeks total control over the people's lives. This means economic control. This means political control. That part's true, but it doesn't mean anything, because if your political party is doing a really good job, it doesn't matter. And if your political party is doing a really bad job, like in the United States, where the political system is completely and totally corrupt, what's your vote worth? It's worth shit, okay? Because it's bought by the billionaires. I like Jimmy Dore. Go watch Jimmy Dore's videos. He explains this very, very well. It doesn't matter. For the last 20 years, who's in the president's office? The oligarchs took control of the country. The money, the Fed, the banks, Wall Street, that's who gets favored. Who just got favored by the coronavirus stimulus bill? What's the very first thing that they did? Don't believe me. Go listen to Dylan Ratigan on some of his interviews. He's a former award-winning New York Times reporter and other major publications, in case you don't like the New York Times. The billionaires stole the country. Do you understand me? Okay, so political control, please give me a break. It means physical control. I don't even know what he means by that. And perhaps most importantly, it means thought control. This is O'Brien talking about China. He may as well be talking about America. He is talking about America. Look, this is called gaslighting. Gaslighting is when I accuse you to freak out your brain of doing the very thing that I'm in fact the one that's doing. Okay, it's the Saul Alinsky. It's the playbook of protest and extremism. Please, people, wake up. Don't pay attention to all of this crap. It's just crap. Listen to Uncle Mario. I'm your Uncle Mario. I wouldn't lie to you, okay? And I'm not joking when I say that. No, I'm going to get back to my stream. Where the hell am I? What's going on? Yeah, Yeah, we're good. Before I continue, I'm going to stop, look to my right, and I'm looking at my chat window, okay, because my camera's over here a little bit, and I got some nice people who've joined. Hi, everybody. If you have any questions, fire away. Any comments about what I'm saying, fire away. All right. And the most important topic of all that we're going to start on now, and now we're going to go down the line, is, of course, the situation with respect to the coronavirus, COVID-19. I'm sorry for those of you who are in the United States. Many of you are not, who are on the live stream. I'm sorry that you are facing this situation. I'm very sorry you're facing this situation. I don't know what to say. I'm disheartened, but I will share with you some very clear and specific information to help you keep things in perspective. You know, I've got a couple of particular friends on Facebook right now, people who I dearly, dearly appreciate and respect, longtime friends. And right now, they're in a tizzy. My mother is worried. She's in Arizona. And I understand why. So we got to try and put these things into perspective. What's right, what's wrong, what's clear, what's not clear, what's absolutely true that really, 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 really matters. So let me start with the number one thing that's true that really, 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 really matters. And that is the virus itself. Okay? Regardless of some inaccuracies, because hospitals report that a patient officially had COVID when perhaps they didn't officially have COVID. Now, that is something that is being politically and economically driven. Hospitals get more money if they say that the patient, has COVID. So they put that they had COVID. Or if it was related, they put that they had COVID. This is called corruption in the healthcare industry. This has been going on for 30 years in America. The healthcare system in America is corrupt. Period. Why do you think you're paying $1,800 a month for your health insurance premium plus $10,000 deductible? That's insanity. It's robbery. It's thievery. It's giving your hard-earned $1,800 a month in insurance premiums. That's what people pay. I'm not going to say a particular person I have in my mind when I say that, but that's what people pay to give that money to the billionaires, who then, the hospitals then bill you $10,000 for what? A CT scan, an MRI. Folks, oh, my knee hurts. Oh, I'm in China. Oh, my knee hurts. It's not, no, there's no national health insurance here. There's health insurance. It's not like national free insurance. You have to pay for it. A CT scan here costs me $50. Oh, my knee's bothering me. I go to the hospital. I would turn the webcam around. I could show you. Okay, a beautiful modern hospital, as beautiful as like a Mayo Clinic. A beautiful modern hospital with ATM machines that spit out your blood reports and your test reports. I mean, the most modern, amazing hospital in the world that I can go to. Pay $1.50 to go see the doctor. Oh, hello. Hi, ni hao. Hello, I'm talking to the nurse. Say, ni hao. 你想什么？我膝盖有中了. My knee is swollen. Oh, okay. 看医生, you need to see the doctor. Yeah. $1.50, please. Yeah, here's 15 RMB. Yeah, here you go, 15 RMB. Here you go, good. Okay, and go upstairs, third floor, room number 7. Go wait to see Dr. Lee. Thank you. I go wait. I see Dr. Lee. Say, Dr. Lee, 我膝盖是中了. My knee is swollen. Oh, what happened? Oh, I banged it. I was running. Da da da. Who cares what happened? He's going to say, oh, we need to get a CT scan. Or maybe just an x-ray. Oh, gee, an x-ray? An x-ray is like $15. Okay? It's nothing to do with insurance. It's just the actual cost of the x-ray. $15, $50. If you need if he says, oh, how bad is it? And he says, oh, I have a history of a bad knee and this and that and this and that, and I had 3 surgeries and da 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 da. And then he would say, oh, well, then we need to see something more clear. You better get an MRI, right? Because the MRI is more detailed and clear. They would never do this in America because an MRI costs like $10,000, right? So that's why. Do you understand that the reason that they don't give you tests in America is because of the cost? So it has nothing to do with taking care of your health. But here in China, an MRI is only like $175. Maybe they're up to $200 in some hospitals now. Can you imagine? So you see the difference? So the corruption is there in the healthcare system. And when they put a COVID patient down, they get money. But you already know this. Get over it. What do you want from me? Okay? I know it pisses you off. It pisses everybody off. It's corruption in the healthcare industry in America. It's rampant. I get it. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do about it. But it's not relevant to you. What's relevant to you is just what Uncle Mario is going to tell you. And that is what you need to know about the virus itself. What's really going on with the virus? I mean, really, tell me. If you have a different opinion with some facts, please put it in the comment box. I'd like to know. Okay? But you don't, because here's the facts. The COVID-19 virus is a very nasty virus. Congratulations. Now you know. It's nasty. It's not just another flu bug. It's more nasty than another flu bug. Just read. You can, go to conservative websites, or go to liberal websites, or go to neutral websites, or just go to newsfeed websites. Just go to the Twitter feed, just go to your Facebook feed, and just read the stories of people who are telling you, I got this virus and it's very, very bad. There are people who, more people are dying, and people who are surviving are experiencing very severe long-term damage and ongoing symptoms. I'm just telling you the one thing that you need to know about the virus in terms of your own personal health and the health of your family, your loved ones, and the people around you. And your goddamn civic duty and responsibility to be careful because of the virus. You have a civic duty to the society that you live in. Do you hear me? Unbelievable. I don't know what's going on with you crazy people out there. And you're in different countries. Mostly it's America. This neoliberal whack job thinking. Okay? I don't know what's going on. Okay? You are facing a nasty virus. End of discussion. Okay? You already have the indisputable factual proof of it. The first outbreak of the virus, and by the way, we now know the source of the virus, the origin of the virus was not Wuhan, China. The most prestigious health medical organization in the world that no one could call any less than like so crazy, ridiculously respectable is the Pasteur Institute in France. And they clearly identified that the virus was in France back in November. Okay. Origin France, not because a person from China brought it there. I mean, that's the Pasteur Institute. We now know that. There's also the governor of New Jersey. He was the mayor of New Jersey, of one of the New Jersey cities. He said, I know I got this virus because I have all the symptoms back in October or November. I thought I was going to frickin' die. And now I have antibodies for the virus. Nobody wants to interview me because that's the case. So the virus has been around the world, but what we know and clearly can say and understand is that a dense, high, severe force outbreak occurred for the first time in Wuhan. We know that, right? And it was. I want to say something to you about this, because then it then happened in Italy, and it then happened in Iran, and then it happened in New York. So let's just stay with me right there. It happened in Wuhan. Now I want you to listen to me very carefully when I tell you this. Imagine there's all these cities. Say, imagine Phoenix is Wuhan, okay? And then there's all the other cities all over the United States as an example. And imagine that the outbreak was so severe in, say, Phoenix, that the rest of the countries, like Dallas, Chicago, Salt Lake, San Francisco, LA, Vegas, Detroit, Cleveland, Miami, New York, Philly, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, all these other cities sent over 3 to 4,000 additional doctors to Phoenix to help quell. This is how nasty and big the outbreak was. You with me on this? But that's not what happened. It wasn't only 3 or 4,000 doctors, which sounds like a lot in medical personnel. It wasn't 3 or 4,000. It was over 30 to 40,000 medical personnel who, on an emergency basis, went to go quell the outbreak in Wuhan and all around Hubei province. That's okay. Let me be clear. 6 weeks ago, on Qingnian Road Bridge, which is right here, across the river from where I live, 5 minutes to the north. I can ride on the bike 5 minutes. There's the river, there's the bridge. Caravan parade of buses welcoming back the doctors who, from Shenyang, 3 busloads of doctors, just from this city of Shenyang, that's like 150 doctors, who had come back to a ticker tape parade of success because they had volunteered. They come back, they arrived in the airport and were given a government escort ticker tape parade across the bridge, welcoming them back to Shenyang from Wuhan. These are local family. I had dinner with one of them. Okay, just doctors who were like, I have to go to Wuhan and help. This is what health industry people do. Do you hear me? Do you freaking hear me? That's a 200, 150 doctors just from this city. Okay? This is what happened in Wuhan. So we know this was a very, very nasty. I'm looking at my feed here. We know this was a very, very nasty outbreak. And then, hey Scott, I see you there, and I'll reply to you in a moment. Then, holy hell. This was like holy hell. And by the end of January, please understand, the entire world was informed on January 1st that this was happening. Let me repeat, the entire world was informed that this was happening. Okay? Worse, American National Security Agency already had gotten wind of it via their own back doors back in mid-December. Did they tell the world? No. The hell are you complaining about China? Are you kidding me? This is like a bad joke. Okay? So by the end of January, we know Wuhan was hell. On February 4th, I wrote my article. Something's not right here, folks. Why the hell are they blaming China? This is a humanitarian crisis. Okay? Politics, politics, politics. And now we can see more and more how ridiculous it is. Even yesterday, Trump, the schmuck, I don't want to disrespect that guy, tweets out again blaming China. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? When you had the protests 3 weeks ago, when America was all frustrated about the virus, and then you had the George Jones, sorry, I forgot his last name momentarily, the tragic, horrible thing happening to this guy, and it is, right? Then America went crazy, got lit on fire, and all these protests are going. And the news didn't say a word for 2 weeks about the virus. And me, amongst me and my friends here in China and back in America, we were all just looking at each other, saying to each other, one thing and one thing only. The virus is going to come back after these protests. These idiot people are out there, side by side, screaming and yelling, spitting and sweating all over each other, and they don't think they need to wear face masks. They're a bunch of, you are the American neoliberal gavons. This is an Italian word, which is not complimentary, okay? And now, I mean, I'm in tears. I'm in pain, along with the rest of you. To see now, you saw the damn curve, America and Europe, the curve was like this, and then like this, and then the American curve went like this just 10 days ago. Back up. Exactly what I knew was going to happen because the virus is nasty. So there you are. So your number one priority is to go back. Please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe and read my article about going camping. You need to adopt the mentality of going camping. listen to me. I don't want to hear your objections about economics. I'm sorry about your objections about economics. I know those things are real. There are people who are being made homeless because of this. And you can blame your government for being neglectful of the people, by the people, and for the people for the last 30 years. All those things are legitimate. But in the meantime, the virus doesn't care about any of those things. And the virus doesn't care about the extra people being named with COVID when they don't have COVID. The virus doesn't care about any of that stuff. I'm just talking about me, you, and the virus, and your family. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? Do you hear me? It's a very nasty virus. Now, you got this upsurge. This is extremely disturbing, and it should be. Be aware of it. Be vigilant. Be cautious. I'm going to tell you one thing and one thing only. You see this? I would like you to imagine that this, and then I'm done on the virus, and we're moving on to the next topics, which is ridiculous. You have social freedom, economic freedom, and legal freedom. You have political freedom. This is the next thing we're going to talk about. Okay, listen to me. You see this? It's a USB stick. Imagine, please, this is a piece of coal. It's an ember, a piece of wood, and it's on fire, and it's in a fireplace. You're sitting in your nice living room. You got a nice hearth fireplace. It's about this big, and there's all kinds of logs of fire, and it's glowing and crackling, and it's wonderful, and there's Christmas music in the background. It's a beautiful winter day, and life is beautiful, and this ember is sitting there. And this particular ember is not touching any of the other fires, okay? And the fire goes out, the ember is sitting in the middle. It's about 2-3 inches away from the others, and this ember dies because it's not contagious, it's spread, it's fire. Do you understand? It's as simple as that, which means there's only two things you need to concern yourself with: your mouth, your nose, your eyes, that's your face, and the fact you're outputting germs and moisture, and your fingers and your hands, okay? Because those are the only contact ways that you could possibly get this virus. Maybe there's others. I'm not discussing that with you today, okay? It's your hands, it's your fingers, and it's your goddamn mouth. Do you understand me? It's nothing more and it's nothing less, okay? And nothing will 100% protect you from the virus 100% of the time, okay? But you build up the protections to build up reducing the risk. That's what you do. So when you do this, all my drops and stuff kind of stopped right about here and here. But if I do this, they've literally gone 6 feet out, 12 feet out, and they've shown that they spread out, even they continue spreading through the room. What don't you understand about this? Huh? What don't you understand about this? It's ridiculous. I'm so pissed off at you people, okay? So when do you need to wear it? When you go outside and you're all by yourself and there's nobody else around. You got to wear a mask, right? No. You shouldn't have to wear a mask because you're not near anybody to spread the germs if you happen to be asymptomatic carrying the virus. And that's what you need to understand. You may be asymptomatic carrying the virus. Point number 2, God damn it. You listening to me? Because the 5, 6, 7, 8 people that you met yesterday, one of them may have given you the virus because they were asymptomatic and you don't know it. And this isn't a problem if there isn't any viruses in your city. Like here in Shenyang, there's no new infections. I'm literally not worried. But when you got 10,000 new infections yesterday in the state of Florida and 50,000 new infections in the country for the day, you don't know who's got the virus and who doesn't. You understand me? I got nothing else I can say to you about this. You're going to go outside and you're going to isolate yourself. I went to the lovely Conrad Hotel the other day. I walked out the door of my house. I'm telling you something. From the moment I walked out the door of my house, I didn't touch anything till the moment I got back. I'm not kidding you. Okay? I went out the door of my house and I used my key to push the elevator button. I use my elbow to push the door open. I get on the subway and I do the same thing. If I have to touch something where I can't grab it with my knuckle, I'm going to use a finger. I use a tissue and I throw the tissue to the side or stick it in my pocket, roll it up, stick it in my pocket until I throw it in the trash. You don't throw it on the ground. Don't be a pig. Okay? All the way to the hotel and back, that's what I did. The thing I touched was the cup of coffee they served me. And even that should make you a little bit nervous. This is the truth. It's a virus. I'm sorry you're upset about it. Everybody's upset about it, including the 150,000 people half a million people who've died so far. Everybody's upset about it. I get it. But you got to do what you got to do. This is the virus. That's the situation. Listen to me. You want to know the difference between America and China? You ready for this? In Beijing, they discovered, besides Xinfadi market, I don't want to talk about that. A week later, they found 18 people in another district. Because they found 18 new cases, not 10,000, not 1,000, 18 new cases in this particular neighborhood, in this particular district, that fit the Xinfadi market. They informed that neighborhood. 300,000 people, quarantine. It's like getting a phone call. Hi, Mr. Mario here. Yes, hi, Mr. Mario. This is the local Huinhepu District Neighborhood Police Office, the community office. We need to update you about something very important. Yes, what it is that you need to tell me? Well, you need to stay home. You and all the other neighbors of Huinhe District need to stay home for the next 10 days. Okay, why? Because 18 new cases of the virus are in your district, which is like a half a million people. Oh, that's very scary. So yeah, that's right. And we want to make so you're going to stay home in quarantine. Okay, done. And the school's closed in your district. Do you understand me? That's what they do. That's what happened to me. That's what's happening in Beijing now because there was the outbreak in Beijing. And what do you notice? What do you know right away? The outbreak was brought under control so quickly in a few days. And that's why. So you understand? This is why what's happening in America is happening in America. I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to look at my comment section to see who's here. Hi, everybody. Nice to see all of you. Great, great, great. And, hey, Spencer. Scott, China health system in many locations now is very high quality. Yeah, it's not everywhere because they're upgrading it. But I mentioned to you earlier, all the hospitals in Shenyang, and Shenyang is not first tier city, it's the capital of Liaoning province. All the major urban areas, and I'd say the majority of second and even third tier cities all now have modern hospitals, as I described to you earlier. With the and part of it too is the progress of just technology in general. The linkage between health tech, government, and public security landlords in China is very, very impressive. And the priority here is not politics and not the economy. It's to keep the people safe. Now, if the priority is to keep the people safe, how do you contrast that against this Robert O'Brien, this liar, his remarks, and Pompeo, okay, his remarks, okay, about controlling the people, not caring about the people? It's just ridiculous. It's the opposite. Here, the people come first. The moment that the outbreak occurred in Wuhan, the whole country locked down. The priority was what? To make sure nobody catches the virus. Is that a priority on the people, or is that a priority on the politics and the economics and the billionaires? No, it was the priority on the community of human beings, the regular daily citizens. That was the number one priority. Here in horrible, evil, draconian, communist regime China, where they hate everybody and want to just control you. Are you kidding me? It's exactly the opposite of the truth. It's exactly the opposite of what happened in America. They don't care about you, the regular nice people. You're the last ones they're protecting. The first one they're protecting in the coronavirus stimulus bill is the trillionaires, the billionaires. These are the facts, and they're very, very disturbing. All right, I want to ask you this question. Freedom. Freedom of speech. What the hell is it? Freedom. Okay, so now let's break it down. Does a person have social freedom? Does a person have economic freedom? Does a person have legal freedom? And does a person have political freedom? Okay. In the United States, do you have freedom? Okay. Sure. Meaning, can you have a social life? Can you pretty much do what you want? Go out? That's like social freedom to go places and do stuff? Sure. Do we have that in China? Sure, of course. Do you have economic freedom? It's a little tricky, isn't it? We have more economic freedom in China than you have in America. How could that possibly be true? I define economic freedom as freedom to have the opportunity to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, meaning the ability to earn a living. Okay? Here in China, you have a 100%, please listen to me carefully, you have an authoritarian central planning government. You know, it's called the Communist Party. I wish it wasn't, because it's not a communist government. I want to, please, you guys, change the name. The Communist Party, CPC. It's not communist. This is an authoritarian central government that allows full open market capitalism and entrepreneurism. An individual guy like me, my wife who's Chinese, any person, my mother-in-law, anyone can go register a company. And it costs nothing to do that. You can register a company, you can start a business, you can get a job if you want to get a job, or you cannot get a job. You can be an entrepreneur and try to and take the risk of what it means to take the risk of being an entrepreneur and hiring employees, and you're the boss, and if you get rich, good for you because you're the one who took the risk. That's the capitalist way, right? You have 100% economic freedom in China. But in America, you have the same thing, except they've taken away the ways for you to make money because America's become an oligarchy. Okay? The ways and means for you to get from poor to rich in America have been taken away. You don't believe me? Jeff Bezos is worth $150 billion. Can you open a retail shop? Nope. Jeff Bezos' company caused the bankruptcies of thousands of malls, retail malls all across the United States, mom and pop shops. This all began with Walmart. Closing down mom and pop shops, Walmart would go in on purpose to go into an area and lower their and with the low prices, and they would actually even target. They know they wanted to shut the mom and pop shops down, capture all the business. This is what we mean by big business, the oligarchy. The Waltons are worth billions, but the mom and pop shops are closed, and now you have no job. And now, can you open a mom and pop shop? Do you have the opportunity to open shops? No. Who's going to buy? Everybody goes to Walmart now because it's cheaper. Okay? At the same time that they've suppressed your wages for the last 20 years. Did they suppress your wages for the last 20 years? Is Mario lying? Is Mario being rhetorical? No and no. They did. Your wages have only gone up a tiny amount in the last 20 years during the same period of time in which the billionaires have gotten by billions more and more rich. So people who were worth 50 million already are now worth 70. People who were worth 5 billion are now worth 10 billion. People who were worth 20 billion are now worth 100 billion. But your $2,500 a month salary is now like only up to like 2,700 in 20 freaking years. Why couldn't they have shared some of those billions with you guys down here? And this is what Bernie Sanders has been saying all along. That's not socialism. That's not communism. That's ethics. That's sharing the wealth and making sure the society is okay. No, 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 no. Capitalism only prays the shareholders, the asset value, and the money. The greed out of control. And they screwed and ruined the United States of America. It's gone. Don't believe me. It's not rhetoric. It's not propaganda. I'm describing the facts. Read the books. David Frum at The Atlantic. America is a failed state, and it's primarily because of these oligarchs. You notice Donald Trump, I happen to agree with a lot of the conservative views of a conservative administration. Okay, I happen to believe in borders. I happen to think that I don't want my taxpayer money paying for somebody else who decides to get an abortion. I agree with all of those things and lots of other conservative policies, okay? But you notice that Trump isn't talking at all about anything that has to do with the wealth. When he gave the tax break, we gave $500 tax break to all the middle class families. We added $1 trillion to the economy. He didn't tell you 90% of the tax breaks went to the corporations. So you had $20 billion corporations that got $800 million in tax breaks. The purpose was to stimulate the economy. Am I wrong? Is this rhetoric? Is this propaganda? No. What did 95% of that money get used for by those corporations who received the tax breaks? Okay. You want to vomit with me yet? You ready? You know what I'm going to say, right? They used the money to buy back more shares of their stock to float the value of the stock. They didn't spend it on the employees. They didn't give it away in bonuses. They did it to do buybacks to falsely boost up the share price of the stock, to support the price of the stock for the shareholders. And who are the shareholders? Rich people. So they used millions and millions, hundreds of millions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions in tax breaks. For what? For the goddamn rich people. Is Trump talking about this? Of course not. Is it part of the election platform? Of course not. Is it part of the election platform on the left? Of course not. They're all in on it together. They're all millionaires taking care of each other. Do you understand me? That's called an oligarchy. That's what it means. It's the elite billionaire boys club. It's the nightmare come true. I'm sorry. But it also has nothing to do with China. So I'll stop there on the topic of economic freedom. In America, inequality is worse than ever. And it's worse than ever. And all the protesting and civil war that you guys all do out there, and I get it, I understand, isn't going to change any of it. Please notice that we have all been screaming about this since 2009 when Obama let the billionaires off the hook. You with me? Specifically and clearly, it was Obama who gathered up the billionaire bankers in his office and said, the world wants to hang you guys by a noose in the frickin' public square because you destroyed the financial system. And now there's like millions of homeowners who are foreclosed on their houses. And it's all because of what you guys did, making yourselves millions of dollars, Lehman Brothers and Goldman, billions of dollars, Lehman Brothers and Goldman Sachs, et cetera, et cetera. You did this. You need to go to jail for what you did. He did not only didn't Obama put them in jail, then they went to the Fed and issued hundreds of billions of dollars and now trillions of dollars in bailouts to those billionaires. But they didn't bail out the people that got foreclosed on their houses. Can you believe that shit? But they still took, the banks still took the houses of those people who got foreclosed. Can you believe it? There's people's lives got just devastated. Middle class people who had no money. They got devastated. And the government, Obama, at that time, it was Obama, okay, bailed out the billionaires but didn't bail out all those people who lost their homes. Can you believe that? That's the United States of America. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. So the people don't come first. But here in China, it's demonstrated. People do come first. It's demonstrated again and again and again. It's really disturbing, isn't it? Third topic, legal freedom. You know, this is interesting. In America, they call it rule of law. Well, along with the corruption of the political system and the corruption of the capitalist system in America, what went out the window? The rule of law. Okay? I just finished telling you that the billionaires don't get prosecuted. Okay? People are complaining about things like the police are giving tickets to moms who take their kids to the park in violation of the quarantine order to get sun, but the police are standing there watching protesters torch houses and buildings but aren't stopping them. And it's true, it's inequality. So the legal freedoms in America have also been corrupted. Nevertheless, there's still at its root, there's a core legal system. So then that, in terms of crime, and you committed a crime and you should go to jail or be punished for committing a crime. And does that also exist in China? And the answer is 100% yes. Okay. I have a couple of very, very dear friends for 20 years, one of whom is a top attorney, and he tells me very clearly, all the time, you go to court. I've been involved in a couple of business court cases. I know a couple of foreigners here, and I know Chinese here who've been involved in court cases. You have the defendant and the plaintiff. Thank you, Mario. You have the defendant and the plaintiff, and you file the paper. You go to the court and say, I want to have a court date. This guy owes me $100,000 and he won't pay me, and legally he owes me. So fine, take him to court. Go down to the court, file the paper, get a date, go see the judge. It's very simple. You present your case of evidence. And the judge rules. And in China, it's very, very cool. In China, they really try to get you to settle. I've had several people tell me this, Chinese and foreigners, where the first time you meet with the judge and the lawyers meet, and then the court system, and they're like, look, before you even go meet the judge, we really want to encourage you to go over there to room number 7 and sit down together and come to a settlement and work this out. It really would be much better if you do that. They try to get you like mediation. an arbitration. They're like, can you get just really? You don't want the judge to have to decide. You guys, come on, go get it settled because this is getting down to the wire here. When you go down to the judge, you don't want to go. Honestly, this is what they do here. Good, right? This is normal, isn't it? What I'm describing. Is there anything weird about what I'm describing? No. Then you get in front of the judge, and then the judge is going to decide. Okay? That's it. So it happens here too. Now, at the very, 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 very high level, are there accusations of kangaroo courts and all that? Yes, in every country. Pick a country where there's not the accusations of the kangaroo court, meaning that whether you're guilty or innocent, the whole case has been set up and you're tried in the court of public opinion and, you're screwed no matter what. Okay. Does that stuff happen in China? I suppose. Could be. Does it happen in America? I suppose could be. Well, sure, it happens. Do we know the details of those cases? No, and we'll never know. So can we please stop discussing it? That's legal freedom. Those are the issues. Okay? I don't have to tell you in America right now that we get a very clear picture that legal freedom is not equal for black people, right? Now, I'll always argue that I am treated the same way that I hear minorities, black people complaining about. Okay, and I will continue to make that argument. Okay, and I have been treated rudely by police, and I am a white male. So I don't know. That wasn't racism. I was treated rudely by a police officer in Phoenix. I cannot tell you how rudely and disrespectfully. Okay, I didn't do anything wrong. He just was treating me that way. Okay? I'm not, obviously this happens more often even apparently to black people, so we know that, and it's horrible. George Floyd, we get it. It's horrible. But at the same time, I know that when that cop was treating me badly, from the moment that I was pulled over, let me be very clear what I was thinking. And this was many, many years ago, by the way, in Phoenix, when I was back visiting. Okay? Because again, I live here in China for 21 years. I saw I was getting pulled over. And it was wintertime. Well, it was Phoenix, so the weather wasn't bad. Okay? It wasn't freezing cold or whatever. The point is, knowing I was being pulled over, I only had one thought on my mind: cooperate. There was no other thought on my mind. I didn't know why I was being pulled over. I didn't know he was going to be rude to me and nasty, but he was. Smart ass that he was. But it didn't matter. He was a cop with a gun, and I was being pulled over. My attitude was cooperate with a capital C. So I pulled over. I rolled my window down, and I put my hands on the wheel, and I waited for the police officer to come. Do you understand me? Okay? And when the officer came, he was an asshole. He was an asshole to me. Okay? But do you think I became overly aggressive with him? No. Do you know why I didn't become overly aggressive with him? Because I didn't want to get shot. It's very simple. And I'm just a white guy. Okay? So there's a degree to which you also have to take personal responsibility. Beyond that, where there's abuse, of course it's not right. It's wrong. We see what happened. God bless George Floyd and his family. No matter his background, no matter any of that stuff. So what am I saying to you? In the end, right is right and wrong is wrong. I get it. Okay? So that's all the legal. And when it's wrong, it's wrong. And when you're treated unfairly, if it's because you're a black person, terrible. When you're treated unfairly because you're a white person or a Chinese person or an Indian person anywhere in the world, if you're discriminated against, it's terrible. Now we're moving on to political freedom. Are you ready? We are moving on to political freedom. Next topic. Before I do, I'm checking the comment section. A driver through Las Vegas a week back, almost everyone outdoors on the strip. Yeah, almost everyone outdoors on the strip not wearing masks. 50% of those inside casinos not wearing masks. It's sad. When you're around other people, you must have a mask on. Everyone must have a mask on. It's a very simple thing. We're back to that. Political freedom. Do you have political freedom in America? The unfortunate answer to that question is you have so much political freedom in America that the country is now chaotically out of control. You can do anything you want in America. You can go out on the street and scream like a bloody dog. Okay? Go ahead. The problem is, like I told you, America is now an oligarchy. It doesn't matter. You can go out there and protest all you want peacefully, quietly. You can just stand there and pray novenas, Hail Mary, full of grace, and pray to God. And you can do it silently, like Mahatma Gandhi. Great. Go for it. Or you could do it more vocally. I object. I object. I object. Get rid of Trump. Get rid of Trump. Okay, fine. Go ahead. Go ahead if you want to. Or you can get even more mad and then you're illegal. You grab a stick and start beating shit up. Start beating up other people. Start looting. Start destroying businesses and banging in windshields. And now you're a criminal and you should go to jail for being a criminal yourself. Because, as my mama taught me, two wrongs don't make a right. Go ahead, protest all you want. This has been happening in America for 30 years. Do you understand it hasn't done a bit of good? Do you hear me? This is what I keep trying to tell you. It hasn't done you any good. Nothing has changed. It's only gotten worse. If anything, the response, the coronavirus stimulus package has shown you that the oligarchy is firmly in control and is bailing itself out. The coronavirus stimulus bill was their excuse to do again, to bail out the billionaires like they did in 2009. And they did it first. They took care of the billionaires first. It's horrible. It's getting worse and worse. It's not changing. Has it changed at all? No, it's gotten worse. So what good has all of your freedom, this thing, your freedom to protest, when legally they locked you out of the system and they locked you out of the money? You see? So now you come back to me to China and you say to me, do you have any political freedom? Some, not much. When you have a one-party system, there's no voting. You have no political freedom in that sense. But in fact, I need you to know something about China. The Chinese political system, that single authority is by a very specific designed system out there soliciting public opinion on all the laws that it passes before it passes them. Okay? I'll give you a couple of good examples. Updates to visa laws, updates to green card laws for foreigners. Okay? And allowing investment into China, meaning what are the terms of which we should allow investment into China by foreign companies, by foreign people from different countries? And then when they do invest in China, should we give them the right to be a resident here as part of the benefit? Depends on how much they invest. It's all reasonable discussion, right? So that law and lots of all the laws that get passed and updated and reformed in each successive 5-year plan, and the 14th 5-year plan is coming, all of that goes out for public opinion. They go out and solicit and want to know what the people are thinking, because it is paramount for the single party to keep the society stable and happy. That's their job. Do you hear me? That's it. I've just described the political system of China. Okay? It's not good or bad or anything. It just is what it is. Now, if the political system of the United States of America, or Germany, or Italy, or China was loaded up with wonderful, compassionate, empathetic, caring leaders who want to ensure that society is stable, okay, and equitably allow the flourishing of the society to everyone, would that society be in a good position? Would that country be well run by those leaders? And the answer is absolutely yes. Would it matter whether that's an authoritarian central government or a parliamentary monarchy thingy, whatever they do in Europe, or whether or not it was, quote, a democracy or a republic? No, wouldn't matter at all. Okay? What matters is, are the government leaders doing a good job? Okay? So, yeah, when you have an authoritarian central government like we have here in China, the people are definitely, without a doubt, dependent upon and at the risk of how good a job that government does or doesn't do. And if all of those government leaders are a bunch of, greedy, corrupt assholes who don't care about the society and treat you badly, yeah, it's true. In an authoritarian central government, you don't have any right, you don't have any rights, and there's nothing you can do about that. Yeah, and it ruins your life. Yeah. And in America, if the government isn't really, really good, does it ruin your life? It is ruining your life. It's the same. But we can vote them out. We can vote them out. Yeah, that's worth something. Yes, it is. I wouldn't say it's not, but you can see that it's not worth much at all. Because look, again, it didn't matter. Obama was a Democrat, and he screwed you and favored the billionaires. And Trump is a Republican, and he's screwing you and favoring the billionaires. By the way, Trump said he was going to drain the swamp, which included Wall Street. And after he got in office, the first thing he did was get in bed with all the Wall Street people. You notice again, Trump is not talking at all about doing anything about the inequality and the billionaires. Nothing at all. Okay? So he's the same as the rest of them. So to a degree, you can affect change because you're involved in the political system. But again, the legal means by which you can affect change in the United States political system, which has now become close to completely corrupted, is very, very little. You're impotent. Okay? So on the surface you have political freedom, in reality you have no political freedom whatsoever. And that's the truth. Does anybody have any questions? Let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And then meanwhile, I'm going on to the next subject. Let me tell you something. If you're not making much money, if you're just making enough money to get by, and if that means that you're like starting over because you just lost your job, which is the case for lots of like 50 million Americans. Now, a lot of Americans who just lost their job are collecting unemployment. I don't know how many, but a lot are not and are just like everybody's flat broke. I was just watching a piece yesterday with Richard Wolff, economist, and he said in the month of May, 50% of renters in America, because of the virus crisis, didn't pay their rent. And that's going to trickle down to the landlords, who now don't have the money to service the bank. You with me? So it's a financial crisis. It's a big problem. So the thread of this topic is, if you're poor, I want you to know it's a lot more difficult to be poor in the United States than it is to be poor in China. So we have another piece of misinformation. The piece of misinformation that we have is that about 3 weeks ago, Premier Li Keqiang said, we want to allow the street economy again. Part of a culture of a society is the local street economy, the street cafes. In China, they tend to be very local, and like just dirty tables and old rickety plastic chairs, and it's wonderful. It's the charm of the culture. Same thing when you go down to from America, you go down to Mexico, right? And the local Mexico, you got the taco stands on the street and local outside places to sit. And I mean, it's the local culture, especially on the beach, right? So that's what you have in China. They've eliminated a lot of that because it's street people who are vendors don't pay taxes, and that's illegal. So it's a reason to say you're not allowed to do that. You should be paying your taxes. Okay, I get it. So now, as a way of helping re-stimulate the economy after the coronavirus crisis, because it affected every economy in the world, it's still happening, Li Keqiang said, there's 600 million people in China who still only make less than 1,000 RMB per month, which is about 141 US dollars. And let them get out on the street and sell their stuff to help re-stimulate the economy, get their lives back on track, because a lot of them lost their jobs, etc. You with me? Yeah. So of course, in the Western news, especially the U.S. news, and also the Guardian and the BBC over in UK as well, they slant anti-China, And they distort this number and they say, see, China is such a rotten, miserable place. The government doesn't care about 600 million people who are far, far, far below the poverty line, in the worst misery of their lives that you could ever imagine. You have no idea how horrible it is. Could you imagine if you only were earning $141 a month? Period. And of course, they don't tell you the rest of the story. And the rest of the story is, if you live in rural China, and I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying it's easy, fun, and comfortable, but I would like you to imagine that you have been, uh, yeah, okay, let's do it this way. I would like you to imagine that you've been given a job by Walmart. Okay, you with me? Now, again, I'm saying your life is terrific, but I'm saying, let's just, as an example, you've been given a job by Walmart. Okay, it's a menial job. You are a stock clerk at Walmart. This isn't, it's not a happy life, but you can survive. And, you know, your wife is also a stock clerk at Walmart. So, you know, or at another store. And so you're both earning this minimum wage. So this minimum wage is whatever it is, eight bucks an hour, but you know and I know that it's just enough money to survive. Why? Because you have expenses. And at the end of the month you don't have enough, you don't have any money. Okay, so now I want you to imagine that Walmart hires you and pays you $140 a month. So 4 weeks, that's $35 a week. That's $7 a day. You with me? Okay, but here's the trick. I would like you to imagine that Walmart also provides you and your wife with dormitory sleeping. So you are living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and you and your wife live in 1 bedroom, and 4 other workers live in bunk beds in the other bed. So 6 of you share the apartment, and because you and your wife are married, and so you get your own bedroom. And Walmart provides you that in a local, just a kind of a plain local apartment building. Okay? So you now you have no mortgage, you have no rent, you have no property taxes, you have no expenses. It's a different, interesting story now, isn't it? It's getting interesting, isn't it? And the next thing I would like you to know is that you have 3 square meals a day. You actually go to work in the morning, and Walmart has a cafeteria, an employee cafeteria, like a school, an employee cafeteria, and you go there and you eat breakfast. Full deal. Regular breakfast. Okay? Which would be carbohydrates, which would be potatoes or steamed bread with some pork, or eggs with tomatoes. Okay? Some soy milk, tea, whatever it is. You're in America, you want coffee. It's not good coffee, but it's coffee. There it is. Brewed coffee. You have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's for free. It's included. Worst case scenario, they charge you 30 cents a meal. So they will deduct a little bit of money from your $7 a day. They will deduct $1 if it's not free. Okay? Third, you have a $300 a month car payment for your car. You have $100 a month life insurance, car insurance payment, and you have to spend $100 a month on gas. That's $500 a month for your car, because you have to drive 20 miles to get to, or 10 miles to go to your Walmart job. And of course now that's not possible because you only earn $7 a day. No, you don't own a car. No, you don't have a car payment or car insurance payment, or pay for gas. $500 a month. You don't have that expense because Walmart sends a shuttle bus to your neighborhood where all the other workers are in the dormitories hanging out like on a college campus, and picks you up and brings you to work every day at 7:45. Takes you to work. You go for breakfast. It's like being in college. You work all day. 5:45. The bus, you go back out to the bus picks you up, takes you back home. Wait a minute. I don't have any expenses. None at all, right? What if I get sick? You have medical coverage. You have health insurance. You have medical coverage. Walmart provides you with medical coverage. If you're at work, if you're off work, if anything happens, you need to go to the hospital, you go to the hospital, and it's covered. I don't have any expenses. Well, when you get home at night, it's 6:30, and before you have to go to work in the morning, you're free for the evening, like any American worker. You're off for the night. You could go out and spend money if you want to. And you could go out and spend street money, because in China, if you wanted to, you could, for $1, get a bowl of noodles and a bottle of beer at some local place in your neighborhood if you want to do that. But you don't have to. You can stay home, read a book, study, surf the web on your mobile phone, whatever it is. So that means that I am making $7 a day and don't have any expenses. Correct. You are spending nothing. You with me now, folks? That's $140 a month. Okay? So I'm explaining this to you very, very clearly. This is the situation. This is the situation for people in the hotel industry, people who work on cruise ships, but this is the situation for people in a lot of countries like China, where, yeah, they don't make a lot of money, but they also don't have any expenses. Okay? So now you know, and now you understand that $140 a month in China for these people in this kind of a situation is just like $1,400 a month when you have a bunch of expenses. All right? I'm going to wrap it up today. I feel like right now is the time to wrap it up. The next live upstream, I'm going to tell you that the vast majority of major websites, major news and life websites on the web are not blocked in China. You don't know that. You think they're blocked. They're not. CNN's not blocked. Fox News is not blocked. ABC News is not blocked. They're not blocked. Okay? The Mirror in the UK is not blocked. APnews.com, which is the frickin' Associated Press news feed, is not blocked. Over 50 of the major news sites are not blocked. I'm going to offer you that list and the full story report for only $1. I'm going to do that within a week. Amazing, isn't it? I'm happy to announce to you on UPay, we're putting up all my books, a beautiful new bookstore. It's really, really cool. And we're going to be able to take payments from all over the world. WeChat, Alipay, UnionPay, and American Express, MasterCard, and PayPal. It's really, really cool. It's really, really amazing. We're going to offer you some really amazing specials. As you know, my third book on China is coming soon. I keep saying this week. It's so close to being ready now. I'm excited about that. And it's coming. It's coming. So the specials offers are going to be coming too, and you're going to be able to take advantage of those. I'm going to end it there. Thanks, folks. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you've learned a lot about what life is really, really like in America, what life is really, really like in China, what's going on. And if there's anything else I can do to help you, let me know, and we'll see you for the next update. That's it. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.